Educators, no matter how good we are, we all have those days that drive us to despair. Today we're going to begin to consider how we can start improving general classroom behaviour. This is a huge area to think about, and we're going to look at 6 main starting points that in my experience will help you to start to secure those improvements over time. Firstly, reflect on how effectively and how consistently you have recently followed the school behaviour policy. The various approaches applied consistently will usually see improvement over time. Schools will expect all colleagues to follow these policies, but it may be the case that special provision is made for certain individuals. If this is the case, it may be helpful to discuss this with a senior member of staff or the special needs and disability leader. Be patient though, for very challenging classes this may not be an overnight fix. Secondly, ensure your communication and teaching is precise, explicit and well articulated. Try to plan your teaching points so they avoid you needing to talk too much. The old advice of 80% engaged work to 20% teacher exposition time can often be a reasonable starting point to plan from. Don't use 20 words when 5 will suffice. Number 3. In the planning stage, be driven by what learning outcomes you want the children to achieve in the lesson, rather than starting your planning by simply considering what task you want them to complete. Planning for achievement rather than task completion will help avoid any temptations to go off onto unrelated or boring tangents. By being driven by learning intentions in this way, you should see an improvement of both engaged learning behaviours and pupil progress over time. Number 4. Try to develop ways to ensure pupil accountability. Many teachers will use some kind of raffle draw to select children to answer questions, rather than relying on children putting their hands up. One popular approach to this is to write pupils' names on lolly sticks and then draw them out of a hat. Other teachers may use various collaborative learning techniques or talk partner roles. However, you should allow thinking time before you expect a response, and do be patient with those children not as experienced or confident with answering questions out loud. Show children respect by waiting for their answer and help them build their confidence. The 5th point is to plan lessons and themes that will engage pupils and capture their interest and imagination. In earlier years, this may involve you building provision around favourite superheroes to entice specific pupils to mark make or to write. In later years, it may be to set tasks to write film documentaries or compose songs. Remember though, keep your learning intention as the main driver for planning. Don't simply do things just because pupils may think they are nice. But boring lessons do result in behavioural disruptions. The final point for today is to try and strike a balance between being realistic and not tolerating low-level disruptions. You want the children to understand that you are fair and consistent, but you also want them to know that you care and you can be realistic in your high expectations. The length of time this takes varies from class to class and from child to child, so you may not see dramatic changes instantly. You are aiming to build a classroom culture of trust, nurture and professional learning, no matter what age group you teach, and this often takes time. Remember that you are doing a great job. Reflect every day on the successes you have had, but also consider you are dealing with real young people, and sadly, sometimes they do have real and very complex issues in their life. Be realistic with your own expectations and don't beat yourself up after a bad day. Good luck.